Hello, everyone. I'm Zaji, your Kitsune Overlord, and today we are reviewing or regarding or whatever a video named "The Never-Ending Downfall of DarkSydePhil." Hi, YouTube. Ready, set, go.
Plenty of YouTubers and streamers have failed and had their careers cut short, but one man refused his fate. He's been relentlessly targeted by trolls, or detractors, as he would put it.
You're a loser.
Some of whom were outright demented and obsessive. He accidentally streamed himself throttling his turkey.
Oh, the camera's on.
He's been copyright strikes, demonetized.
Okay, I remember that being a thing. I remember them jerking the Turkin hammer. I remember that being a clip somewhere. And I was told that he did not clean up. So that was a thing, right?
Had accounts of his terminated, he went bankrupt, and yet he's still standing.
Enjoy your...
Wait, he went bankrupt? I thought he said he was getting all the money back in the day. Well, actually, he did say that he always needed money, so I guess that makes sense.
Your live stream fails. I'll sit here making content, making money, and having a great time with my audience, and you can get bent.
Who's often been compared to a cockroach due to his impeccable survival skills in the realm of online content creation.
Yeah,
no matter how
yeah.
objectively wrong he is, no matter how destitute his life becomes, no matter how much he has to kneel and beg for money on his streams,
Let's get some super chats. Let's get some tips. What is going on?
he will stand his ground, and through his screeching, nasally tone, mouth off to anyone who dares to criticize him. You may think you've seen egotism and delusion before.
I know this guy. This guy is Pirate Software. Pirate Software is an idiot. I remember him demanding money. Yeah, that was his whole thing, demanding for money. He wanted money. He needed money. He needed that dollar bill. He needed to pay his, what was it? The back taxes? He's a milk fridge thief. Yeah, pretty much. He needs your money. In fact, based on back then, when I was actually a fan of him, I kind of don't like begging for money, even if I need it now, because of this guy. Not this guy on screen. That's Pirate Software. He's a idiot for a completely different reason.
But you have seen nothing if you haven't witnessed the one-man army
That's an offense to
against his detractors, which include trolls, the IRS, his gambling addiction, and ultimately reality itself.
Okay, I'm going to start my new tab. Clip this and put it on Reddit for me.
Oh my God.
Hello, Reddit readers. Hi, everyone who sits on Reddit all day reading it. I received $1 tips so far today. Wow, this has been a
It's
great podcast.
DarkSydePhil.
Don't ever ask anything of me ever again.
What is that? What is the redemption?
Stay in that miserable slumber in PC. You are literally
no.
Now share this on your.
I don't like this guy, like at all. I really don't like this guy. At least the other two had some level of entertainment. Mr. Self-Pleasure called on cam. Yeah, the camera was still on.
Weirdo.
Cracks, you're gonna keep coming back. Why? Because you keep smelling the syrup.
This will just get banned now. And
what is the syrup?
So I don't have to listen to you ever again. Unless we get 50 subs by the end of tonight, now it will be 49. You're never getting text messages in your moral support ever again. It's the worst support I've ever gotten ever in my history of streaming for games.
Thank you, Tunky Tom, for making this video.
A lot has happened since my first video on DarkSydePhil. I titled the video...
That was the first video? Oh. Thought this was the video. A decade of failure. You know what? I'm gonna assume that that's the stuff that I know before I stopped interacting with anything about him. Like anything about whatever he was trying to be. They cut off your hand for doing that. You know what? Maybe. Wait, did they cut off his hand for... Did they cut off your hand for stealing or for yanking it We need to be more precise here.
A decade of failure, and unfortunately, it looks like 10 years is turning into 20.
Self-pleasuring.
We'll begin today's video in
That's against the
2023
Bible.
AD, which came to a close for Phil in a very dark manner. DSP was the victim of the vile crime of robbery. His words, not mine. But our courageous hero downplays the severity of this vicious attack, saying it wasn't a big deal and that he's fine. When he went on stream to reveal the full extent of this robbery, he explains that what actually happened is he left his shopping cart unattended for 2 minutes as he waddled through the entire supermarket to get cranberry sauce. And when he finally got back, the cart was gone along with his reusable shopping bags.
Why would you look for a cart of someone else's shopped groceries and take that cart?
He then recalls having walked.
You are an idiot. Okay, for people who don't know, I work at a grocery shop. Why didn't you take the grocery cart with you? Okay, first off, it is a thing in grocery shops where if they find a unattended grocery cart full of items, especially full of cold or frozen items, somebody either in stocking or in the front end will take that cart and put the items back so other people may buy it instead of letting it sit there and waste away. Because that causes the company money. Why would you leave your cart in the middle of the aisle anyway to go get cranberry sauce? Just take it with you!
For several minutes more in search of his forsaken cart, cranberry sauce in hand, as the realization set in that some heinous criminal had made away with his loot. The fact that rapscallions
robbery,
engage
though.
in such foul thievery at the local Walmart in this day and age sickens me and is also a massive shocker.
Oh my.
She's hungry.
In all seriousness, DarkSydePhil
She's hungry
has
indeed,
continued
yeah.
down the beaten path. As dedicated detractors continued their work in tracking DSP's year-over-year downfall, his losses weren't just measured in finances, but also in aura, as he accidentally exposed himself on stream as being a victim of the dreadful Norwood Reaper.
He's balling!
Frankly,
he has no
I have
hair!
empathy for Phil here. My recommendation, the Tower of Babylon hairdo. Nobody will suspect a thing. Let's not forget, however, that no weapon formed against DarkSydePhil shall prosper, as despite suffering from a shortage of money and hair follicles, to this day, he remains the immovable object he's proved himself to be in every way. For example, in December, he weighed in on the gaming news of the time regarding the Game of the Year awards, which
he was still around. That means that he's still around now. I thought he fell off like in 2020. He really is a cockroach.
he confidently stated would go to a mainstream AAA game like Starfield and definitely would never go to a computer RPG like Baldur's Gate 3.
Well, you were wrong. To even think that Starfield was going to win Game of the Year. Oh my God.
Baldur's Gate 3 is popular right now, but once Starfield hits, you're likely not going to hear anything about Baldur's Gate ever again. Baldur's Gate 3 could literally be the best game of the decade.
People are
and it's
still talking about
not going to get as much attention as a game like Starfield.
Baldur's
You have to
Gate.
understand this.
To the surprise of millions, DSP was actually wrong, and Baldur's Gate won Game of the Year. Phil handled the situation with all the poise you can expect him to have.
I am addressing directly people who are ridiculous or unfair. That's who I address with this nonsense. Were you foaming at the mouth today to come to my stream to say, I can't wait to call out Phil on being wrong because Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year? If you were, you are.
As far as I'm concerned,
But you confidently said that Baldur's Gate would not even be remembered. Of course, people are going to want to come and correct you. Why would you think anyone wouldn't? I mean, He has terrible takes. Yeah, he's had terrible takes when I was around too. But I just thought it was a character or just trying to be funny. I don't think he's trying to be funny anymore.
Baldur's Gate winning just proves that the gaming industry is conspiring against Phil. Whoever picked Baldur's Gate to win the award just to spite him is probably the same person responsible for tweaking every single game that comes out just to make sure Phil sucks at them and rages.
I wasn't touching a single button in the game. What a piece of shit.
This is one of the things people latched on to DSP for in the first place. His constant rages at games and his inability to accept that he is simply bad at them. He'll blame.
I always hated this about Phil as well. I mean, it's just a game, but the way that he plays games is always somebody's fault that he isn't excellent at them. And even when I was a fan, that was kind of starting to peel away at me, even though back then I thought it was like a gimmick. Like, obviously, he's inspired by the angry video game nerd. Obviously. But the more I started to watch of him, especially after the whole stealing my money kind of thing, I don't really think he's playing a character. But Angry Nerd was funny. He is still funny. I actually still watch some of his stuff. He's mellowed out a little bit, but he's still pretty funny. And he actually put effort into his reviews instead of just cursing all the time. I mean, he's a goat. He is a goat. I kind of want to react to some of him too.
The game mechanics, his controller, his internet, the mailman, literally anything other than himself.
You idiots at Nintendo. It's just endless kits with items you keep giving people behind me. There's no driving involved. You're so dumb.
His lack of skill.
Okay, quick entry on that one. Mario Kart gives better items to the people in the back to try to catch up. It's more of a party game than a racing game. Just FYI, Philly.
He's only matched by his lack of impulse control, as he has emotional meltdowns every time he loses, and he loses a lot.
I'm not doing it wrong. The game just doesn't want to give me footing there.
Some of his crash outs,
what do you mean the game doesn't want to give you stuff?
For example, this one.
No skill or effort in anything you've done. Zero skill or effort. Just stand there and throw Sonic Boom. The game doesn't work right online. You can't react to it, you numbskull idiot. So if you want to do that, then why even play a fighting game? You can play a shoot 'em up. You don't have to play a fighting game to do it. Go play R-Type.
Buffoon, you mouth drooler.
What the hell are you talking about?
Being called a mouth drooler who puts no effort into gaming is Spliced Helix, a father and gaming streamer who was diagnosed with MS in 2011. His condition clearly doesn't stop him from destroying DSP and Street Fighter, though.
All he has to do, there's no effort here.
No skill or effort in anything he's done.
Obviously, Phil probably had no idea he was calling a guy with MS a numbskull idiot, but it is pretty funny and ironic to note that he got smoked by him.
Numbskull idiot.
As far as I'm concerned, it was either a level playing field or Phil was actually at a disadvantage.
Why does he look like a thumb?
Person consistently has Phil's output when it comes to the quality of his playthroughs, or play troughs, as he put it in his channel's promo.
Numbskull idiot.
It would be one.
I can't even say anything. I do that all the time.
But it turns out that Phil does a lot of friendly fire during his Street Fighter streams.
What does this mean? This is like something that someone who's mentally slow would do. Oh, look, I beat you, so now I'm going to scroll my menu. Why are you doing that? You look like a moron. You look like you have like a mental incapacitation. Why are you doing that? You're not taunting me. You just look like really incredibly stupid. Like, dude, I won a match. Now I do this, dude. Like, why would you do that? It's the same as, oh, I won. Let me play with my fidget spinner now.
There is an argument to be made, however, that Phil is
jacking it.
Street Fighter.
He's jacking it.
He's getting distracted by the scantily clad characters. If you're a Street Fighter gamer, then you may think I'm referring to Cammy or Chun-Li here, as they've been the focus of a lot of gooners for the entirety of their existence. But it's much more likely we're talking about the Russian wrestler Zangief, for multiple reasons. DSP has proved himself incapable of
Zangief is Zangief. Thank you.
resisting the temptation to ogle at muscular men.
Or World Tour, I think. Oh. Hey now. Look at this stud. I looked like that once in my life. In my dreams. Alright, I guess we gotta make our avatar. This is gonna
Not that there's anything wrong with this.
Gonna be very exciting.
If you want that, that's fine. Enjoy it in your own time, your own space, in your own playthroughs. Or go to someone else's horn dog streams where they're doing that kind of stuff. You're not gonna find that content here.
Oh,
Time and time again, he's made it clear what he truly enjoys in life.
back then, McDonald's nuggets were actually like succulent.
You would bite into it and it would be like a juicy
burst of meat in your mouth.
and it was salty and it tasted really good.
Setting aside these instances of DSP showing side effects of being on heart medication,
I'm not saying anything.
the fact of the matter is, images of huge, sweaty wrestlers are historically something DSP will spend thousands of dollars on. I mean, literally. One of the main reasons DSP has gotten so much flack for e-begging on his streams and constantly guilt-tripping his audience about his bills or whatever else he needs money for is that he has been repeatedly exposed over the years for spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on a mobile game called WWE Champions. His original
WWE Champions, if I remember correctly, is basically Bejeweled. If I remember correctly, is basically just Bejeweled with wrestlers on top of them. Why would you spend, you know what? I don't care.
original account on this game had the same handle as his YouTube. They call me DSP. But he eventually changed it to Down from the Rafters to try and throw people off his trail.
From the
Detractors
rafters.
simply continued to track the account's activity
Sting
and
reference.
match it to DSP's on-stream activity. And obviously, whenever he was busy on stream, the account was inactive. And whenever he was gone, suddenly things started moving.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills, the electric bill, the internet bill. Thanks for the money, dummies, because that's exactly what you are, a bunch of empty-headed idiots who paid me money.
You know, I kind of felt like this would have happened. Didn't know that it was that bad. So basically, all that time saying, I mean, I knew this was the case. I knew after the whole Project 7 thing, you don't need the money. You want the money, but you're tricking people into thinking that you are desperate enough to beg. But you're spending this on a video game? I can't even say much because there's been many times where I got a little bit too into gacha games. But even then, I worked myself off of those games and stopped playing them after spending an amount of money. This guy's stupid.
To get absolutely nothing.
This guy may be really stupid.
In one of these instances, a Twitter user named TJ Gamebox noticed something interesting. During one of DSP's bathroom breaks during stream, he instantly fired up WWE Champions and started burning through his bank account.
Can I get
spending
banned from a
$2,000
dude on the toilet?
in one single bathroom break before he stopped. The sheer depth of this man's addiction is hard to explain. And this was not an exceptional circumstance either. Multiple times throughout 2024, DSP's account was documented as having spent up to over $2,000 in one single session. His behavior in the community is so infamous that talking about DSP is strictly forbidden in the WWE Champion subreddit.
Well, damn.
Speak his name.
Imagine if you were such an insane gambler that the MGM Grand in Vegas banned its customers from even mentioning you. Now, despite how bad gambling is for gambling addicts, I'm not trying to moralize about gamblers here. I probably would be deathly addicted to gambling if I tried it, so I don't want to judge too hard.
Same, and that is why I don't play lottery, or I try to minimize my connection to gacha games, because I'm really sure that dopamine rush upon getting that one victory will probably drag me down into a very dark place, a dark side, as you will.
Oh, I lost it all.
However,
Like
most
that.
gamblers either spend their own money or they are gambling streamers, and their viewers know that every penny and dime they donate is going straight to the house. DSP, on the other hand, conceals his addiction by misplacing his dopamine starvation onto his streams. One of life's hardest tasks is trying to psychoanalyze whatever is going on in Phil's mind. It appears to be mostly vacant, albeit with some thought-resembling observations peppered throughout. I will say, I think one of the things a lot of people miss about Phil's aggressive e-begging episodes, such as this one.
This game is the worst support I've ever gotten in my history of streaming for games. I've never gone $5 a whole stream. So,
is that his emotional charge in the donations comes from his attachment to WWE champions. I'm sure that his debt and his nostalgia for the times when his online content actually made any money has something to do with it, but nowadays, I suspect that's a much smaller factor than his need for juicers. I doubt he's ever going to get to the point where he's debt-free and won't constantly be looking over to the tip amount as he
Yeah, I don't really understand why any streamer at all would be so hard pressed to beg for the money. If your viewers want to give you money, they will. I mean, they will. That's why I'm working hard. I don't really care that much about it. Would I like to get it? Yeah, but I'm not gonna push anyone into doing it or make anybody. It just becomes very irritating content, in my opinion. It's just like that's the only thing you're streaming for. And that shouldn't be how you are. If you're online streaming, especially gaming, you're trying to entertain people. You're an entertainer. Entertain people. They're entertained enough, then the other stuff will come. I've never gotten that.
A gambler is never satisfied.
I've never gotten that.
Credit where credit is due, though. He does a really good job of misdirecting and making everything about him being an e-beggar or a man-child. But beyond that, in his deeper psychology, I think he's just yearning for that.
He looks so fat. Ow!
this isn't happening!
Everything else is a sideshow, a hobby.
Why,
I
Cass?
don't even think he can find joy in other stuff as much as he just tolerates it. For example, he used to be into fighting games, but he's clearly worn
Whoa. Wait a minute. Whoa. Where is it? Where was it? That's Phil? Look at him. He was skinny. I mean, I'm no like professional athlete either, but damn. Cause bored? I am sorry that you are bored at my random request to look at a video.
Games, but he's clearly worn out and tired of them altogether. He doesn't seem concerned with even trying to be good, or at the very least, not being a terribly sore loser.
This is such trash gameplay, see? Do you want to teabag me, huh? You're a trash player. You're a trash player playing
Rage quit.
Online with lag, dropping half my
Rage quit.
You're gonna get blocked and I'm never playing you.
Rage quit.
The funniest part is, he's gone out of his way to denounce what he just did on stream, which is quitting the match when you see that you're about to lose.
Because if you're pulling the plug on a fight...
Wifey, hi, baby, my second wife, my favorite. Shut up. Hi, Slime. Welcome to the stream. We're reacting to DarkSydePhil.
Online, that means absolutely nothing, and you somehow...
Because I may actually be a masochist.
I mean, and there is no way that anyone can dispute it. The moment that you do it and you pull that plug, and if you're doing it publicly, that's even worse.
He doesn't care that he's a hypocrite, just like he doesn't care about ingratiating himself with the fighting game community or any community, even his own. One of the running gags and consistent elements of Phil's stream is that he'll often reward a big juicer, I mean, a donation, by wearing some silly article of clothing. The thing about this is, even this pathetic excuse of a reward.
Why is it an inflatable crown?
To do, even when he does get huge tips and blows way past his goals.
So I got a $100 tip. Amazing. The thing is, I would actually like to start playing, so please let me play for a bit. We can worry about hats and stuff later. I really want to play.
Bullshit. No. If you're gonna do a goal, do the goal. No excuses. Fuck you. Like, literally, fuck you, asshole.
Street Fighter tonight, and if I keep getting distracted, we're never gonna start. Let's play for a bit. It looks like I received another $25 tip. As I've said, I'm playing Street Fighter. I'm just trying to get
just
up.
put on the shit.
The first thing I should do is not slap on a bunch of clothes that are gonna make me.
You're the one who came up with it.
At a very high, adrenaline level. I can tell you right now, I already feel sweaty, and I'm just sitting here with absolutely nothing on whatsoever.
Wait, rewind to that. What did he say?
And I'm just sitting here with absolutely nothing on whatsoever.
Last time he had nothing on stream, it didn't.
Damn it, Tom. The camera was on.
Go too well.
Oh, the camera's on.
Damn it!
The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know.
Hello.
Let's hope he's not gonna air out the old almonds again anytime soon. After complaining and dragging his feet like a kid for an hour, he
scratching the old crotchel.
And 15 minutes later, the vest. But not without complaining some more.
All right, I'll get the vest on for you guys, and now for the next 45 minutes, I'm just gonna be sweating profusely like an idiot because I'm wearing dunks trying to play a fighting game.
You're the one who came up with it, you fucking...
I'm playing a fighting game, I'm already heated, but no,
disgusting, yeah. Disgusting as hell.
Whatever. I'll do it, fine.
Doesn't he have air conditioning? Where does this guy live? The Sahara Desert? How could a vest and a hat make it so hot that you can't even sit down to play a video game? He's up over $200 and whining about how it'll make him worse at Street Fighter, as if he didn't suck already. Despite his terrible attitude, not only toward his
dude, if I got gifted like $200, I would wear whatever you guys wanted me to wear. Fuck that. I don't even fucking care. I should probably walk that back, but still, you get what I'm trying to say.
Viewers not sending him money, but also towards the ones who actually do send him money, he consistently struggles to figure out why he occasionally fails to make money on stream.
On the YouTube side of things, we've got nothing. We've got no contributions whatsoever. No memberships, no super chats, nothing. So let's get the tips.
No. Do you have people in your chat? Do you have people watching? Because if you have those two things, you're already set, man. It's not about the money. It's about entertaining and creating a community, man. We're entertainers. Let's entertain fuckers.
Although Phil is not an evil person per se, it's moments like these that truly make you understand why he's so hated. From the shameless begging to pouting at the camera like he's owed something, it's actually hard to believe that this is a middle-aged man and not a 13-year-old mad at his grandma for not paying for his V-Bucks. One of the most impressive characteristics of DSP is that for all his faults, he truly does not discriminate between people. Whether you're one of his supporters or a detractor, he will treat you like a total idiot regardless.
You need to make your viewers want to show up. That's the dumbest statement I've ever heard.
At least he doesn't play favorite.
That is literally what you're supposed to be doing. Like as a VTuber, as a streamer, as anything on the internet, you want to try to make your fans want to show up. How's that stupid?
Obviously, I'm being a little bit facetious here. He does discriminate, not among his viewers, but for whatever reason, against women.
I don't want to come across woke, but like,
why are you on my?
Have it hard, and I empathize with.
Get off of
probably know me well enough to know that I'm not one to clutch pearls over this kind of thing.
I did it because I like order. And I love it.
But one thing that Phil has in common with Elliot Rodger that I don't is that Phil wrote his very own incel manifesto.
Don't talk about him.
Days of glory, when Phil still had human DNA and was a part of the fighting game community, he was relatively active on a gaming forum with an account called Punisher, where he randomly posted what I can only
Punisher. Well, whatever is about to happen is going to be fucking cringe.
Describe as his screed. I don't want any of you girls here to think that I'm writing about you, because I really don't know any of you well enough to make a judgment call. Well, 99.9% of you anyway, so don't take this personally. It's just that every woman I've ever known has let me down. Are there really truly interesting and wonderful women? Every woman I've ever known was either 1, extremely selfish and self-centered.
Oh no, we're doing this. Phil was in the manosphere. Oh, God.
2, too busy feeling sorry for herself to do anything else. 3, too annoying and or geeky to stand for more than 30 minutes. 4, too stupid to listen to advice they ask for, doing stupid things and then complaining to you because they went totally against what you told them. 5, a total 6, a total tease, leading you on and then crushing you under their boot when you finally let on that you.
So he got cucked. This is basically what I'm hearing. He is a cuck. Someone he was in love with went with someone else. He got NTR'd. This is basically what I'm hearing here.
You like her. 7, a total liar. 8, so demanding that she expects you to read her mind like some kind of psychic and never do anything unless it's with her.
Yeah, he's cucking.
If she says you can go do something and she doesn't mind, she's lying and you'll pay for it later. 9, too full of herself. Or 10, just plain crazy.
Oh yeah, he sat in the cuck chair.
In my life fits one or more of the above, and every single one has let me down. You want,
including your mom? Are you talking about your mom as well? Because that's fucked.
To know why so many guys are so uninteresting, full of themselves, thinking they are the shit? Because women demand it. If a guy has no confidence, then that's no good. Women always whine they want a nice guy and there are none of them left. Give me a break. Women walk all over nice guys. Use them, abuse them, play with their hearts, but in the end, they always screw them over, cheat on them, break up with them, tell them, let's just be friends, or you need time apart, but then run off with some other guy, blah, blah, blah. The fact of the matter is,
he was cocked. He was cocked. We're all in agreement, right? He sat in the cuck chair? Yeah? Okay.
The women of America have become... I like how he says women of America. It makes him sound like he's recording a propaganda video for ISIS. The women of America have become so selfish, dishonest, and full of themselves, they have no idea what it is they really want from a man. This is why so many guys have become that same overconfident because if we're nice guys, we get walked all over and thrown away because we're too boring or whatever other stupid reason you give. At least if we act like total dicks, we can get laid once in a while. If you could make up your minds what you wanted out of men, maybe more guys would try to be like that. But instead, you're never satisfied. And you go on forums complaining that all guys are the same overconfident assholes. Well, maybe if you weren't sleeping with or dating that type of guy and or cheating on / turning down that nice guy for that whole stereotype you so loudly proclaim to be so bad, so many guys wouldn't be trying to be like that in the first place. So yeah, poon is good, video games are good, but women are a waste of time and the #1 cause of BS and drama that men don't need.
I rest my case.
You rest your case?
Extreme BBC cucking.
After reading all of this over, I agree completely. Phil, I crown you king of the men and destroyer of women. You are my god. I will say, after reading this, that clip of Phil drooling over a buff dude makes slightly more sense. He wouldn't have to complain about BS and drama if he was getting the salty burst of meat in his mouth that he truly yearns for. But let's not dwell on the past too much, considering this post
Pizza's
was from
good.
literally
Love
20
pizza.
years ago. Phil continues to give people plenty to laugh at in the modern day. In mid-2024, he decided to stream himself, quote-unquote, fixing his joystick. And by that, I mean he was trying to combine an Xbox joystick with a PS5 joystick and became extremely perplexed when they turned out to be incompatible.
Like, why the fuck
No
did they do it
fucking shit!
Besides, they're morons, and they didn't test to see if another brand's joystick would fit inside the combo base.
Why on God's green earth would Sony or Microsoft care to make their joysticks parts compatible with the parts of other brands? They are competitors. Not that Sony or Microsoft are geniuses, but Phil sure is doing his damnedest to make them look like they are in comparison. Could it be that I'm incompetent at assembling electronics? No. It's the professional engineers who built them that are wrong. He's so goofy that he actually started calling the manufacturers of the controller scam artists right before doing what he does best.
The irony is thick. Where's my $25, you fucking asshole?
Snarkily complaining about not getting enough money.
So, thanks Rare Tricks for the last super chat. And I received $1 tip so far today. Wow, this has been a great podcast, huh? Just everything's going my way today. How could possibly things go any better for me today, right?
Honestly, Phil should look into a career in financial domination. He'd make a lot more money than he does with gaming. To the surprise of no one, his joystick was now at fault for every single time he lost a match.
Yep. That's not good at all. Couldn't get a standard combo.
Fortunately, he did eventually get his stuff together and started streaming normally again instead of having his viewers watch him fidget with busted electronics for hours on end. Not that his normal streams were much better, as he just went back to his routine of moaning about donations, and somehow even getting donations couldn't stop him from complaining about donations. In one instance, someone gave him some money to complete the daily goal and have him put on the vest, only for him to remark that he hasn't worn the vest in over a month.
From Okie Dokie, let's get a vest on player. Wow, this is the first time that I'm wearing a vest on.
Just put on the vest. We don't need a history lesson on how you haven't put on a vest in years upon years because people haven't given you enough money. Put on the fucking vest, man. You got the money. Just do the entertaining part. You know, if I was in Phil's spot, I would, you know what I would do? Instead of putting on a vest, I would put on fake titties. Yeah, fake titties. That's funnier, right? Wait, you would get banned on Twitch. Does he stream on Twitch? No, he said he streamed on YouTube, right? Yeah, you probably wouldn't get banned from YouTube or that. Yeah, go ahead, do it. Do it, Phil. Become the pussy.
Stream in almost a month, I think. It's been a long time. Like when we first started with this DLC, I think there was a stream or two, but it's been a while.
But the thing is, this isn't true. Just 4 days prior, he wore it because the goal was met. Not even giving this guy exactly what he wants can satisfy him. One of the only redeeming qualities of Phil's actual streams is whenever one of his detractors managed to interact with him directly through whatever game he's playing. Such as when he was matched up against a guy named DSP Hates N-Words. But our hero is unshakable.
Thank you for
even in the face of
blocking
adversity
that,
and mockery.
Tommy.
He continues to stand up for what is right. Being the ethically upstanding streamer he is, in August of 2024, he went on a long rant against paid shills and basically any streamer.
Yeah, I had burgers. They were delicious.
Who will compliment a product just because they're being sponsored or rewarded by a brand.
It doesn't matter if a content creator outright has a contract that says they have to be kissing a game's butt or not. They likely are going to be more positive.
Since the sun was created.
They get exclusive access to, they make money on, than a game that they don't. It's just common sense. It's not even disputable in any way, shape, or form. You cannot be unbiased.
And then, half an hour later, he said this.
They thought at the time this would be like the future of games on streaming, and that's why they paid me money to promote the game and try it, but I don't think it really went anywhere.
If there is such a thing as being immune to cognitive dissonance, this guy has the most advanced case ever documented in human history. No sense of shame, no hesitation, not even a glimmer of concern for how people may use this against him. For other streamers who get into drama, you'll see them tie themselves up in knots trying hopelessly to defend themselves. But Phil is so adamant about digging his own grave, he never has the time to lie in it. Even if you take the sponsorship question out of it, literally everything Phil does is for money. He wouldn't do anything at all if he could. There is not an ounce of passion in this man's body. Yet he confidently grandstands about sellouts. If Phil had discipline or public speaking skills, he could be the statesman of the century, the new Napoleon. I don't think I even need to say that if a company showed up and offered Phil money to promote something, he would jump at the opportunity. He just hasn't done that because no company wants to associate their product with him, which is why he's attacking people who do get sponsored, because he...
The problem is, you could probably get sponsored pretty easily if you tried. I mean, if I can get a sponsor, then this guy could get a sponsor or two. I don't know. I don't know. But I didn't sell out. I know that much. I sold in.
He's probably jealous. I honestly think that something was really bugging
Make the head
Phil
pass
around the
longer?
middle of
Okay, I will.
2024 because he started to show signs of cracking under pressure. For one, him begging for tips ramped up a lot, if that's even possible. And even after making $1,200 in one single day, he came back the very next day acting like he'll be stressing super hard if his daily goal isn't met.
Remember, my goal for today is 50 bucks of tips on stream. Everything else is great, and thanks to those who did contribute in other ways. 50 bucks by the end of the stream would be appreciated. Sooner rather than later, even better. That way I don't have to think about it. Anything is appreciated tonight, whether it be super chats, memberships, gifted memberships, or tips. The goals that I'm talking about are the King's Tips goals, as you can see. The goals are 50, 100, and 150. So if we hit 150 bucks tonight in tips, boom,
oh my
If we don't get it right away, I'm gonna have to be mentioning it, of course, over the course of the night.
He also seemed to blow up at increasingly smaller bits of criticism in his chat. Even innocent suggestions were enough to set him off really bad. In one instance, someone simply told him that it would be better for him to set up his RGB lights off stream instead of starting up a stream and having a bunch of dead air as he tries to get them working. And this is how he reacts.
Well, yeah.
Enjoy your ban. And seriously, I mean it. Anyone who's gonna come in here and be toxic,
You banned him for that?
Just get banned now and speak up so I can ban you now, so I don't have to listen to you ever again. Seriously, like, why don't you do this before the stream? Why don't you do this? You're a waste of life. No one cares about you. Shut up.
How is he still around? How is this guy still around? Like, seriously, how is this guy still around? I want to know. I want answers. And I just realized that my feet, I think, are off the screen. I'll fix it as I'm listening. Yeah.
No. Stop.
Usually, you only get this amount of rage from DSP when you beat
I
him in a
don't
street
always
fight.
talk about
to
feet.
his chatters, he usually gets dismissive and insulting, not mad like he got here. It was a clear sign that something was amiss, and this was only compounded by the fact that soon after, DSP took part in a stream with 3 other people. Kino Casino, which is a drama live stream that covers whatever is currently going on in the e-celebrity gossip world, and Null, the owner of gossip forum Kiwi Farms. For someone who spent years railing against detractors and essentially blaming them for
I know Kino Casino. Yes, 1 point. I got over it. Give me a break here. Jeez.
everything that goes wrong in his life. It's interesting to me that he seemed very comfortable rubbing elbows with people who are largely known for their documentation of figures like Phil. To be fair though, neither party was particularly hostile towards him. They did take the time to ask him about his WWE Champions account though, which got an interesting response.
So was that down from the Rafters account yours?
No, it's not.
No?
It's really not mine. I do have another account and I do spend money on it, but that is not my account. And they have been whatever who this guy is, because people have asked me over the years.
If it is you, you're the best in the world!
So what he's saying here is that he does play WWE Champions, and as another part of the interview has him clearly state, he was deeply addicted to mobile gambling games and spent way too much money on them. But the Down from the Rafters account isn't his. To make this story
I don't
even
believe
less
you.
believable, he inadvertently admits to playing the game for exactly 7
I'm not
years.
in denial.
This is a new account that I'm starting fresh, and it's not going to be as entertaining as if I were playing, the game for 7 years, but I'm not going to show you the account on which I've been playing for 7 years. I already said I'm not showing you my personal information. Some idiot just said you oddly know way too much about the game. What are you talking about? When did I say I've never played the game? I said I played it for 7 straight years on my real account, you dummy.
Which is exactly how long the Down from the Rafters account has been active. Does he expect people to truly believe that this is just another coincidence?
I think not.
To me, it just seems like he's doing the oppositional defiant thing of just saying his detractors are wrong for the sake of not giving them the satisfaction of being right, even if he is incapable of fully proving them wrong. He's not a good enough liar or resilient enough to keep up the facade as if he has no idea what WWE Champions is and isn't.
So this is a background that I basically stole off the internet. And apparently this is recent. That face is, that's a face. Apparently Phil really leaned into the Hulk Hogan thing. That's not cringy at all. Not at all. Couldn't think of your own branding. That's
isn't spending
cool.
money like a maniac. So he does a partial admission to try and eke out a victory. Then, to try and further own his detractors on the issue, he did a WWE Champions stream, inching step by step closer to becoming a gambling streamer.
Oh, we're getting a character. 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, 6 stars? What? I got a 6-star character on the first pull. And it's a Steiner brother, and that's a good character. He's pretty good. We got Rick Steiner right out of the gates. We got a 6-star Steiner right out of the gates, the first pull. That's a rare pull. That's not like a common shitty character. He's actually good.
This arc of owning up to it and embracing the accusation
He was enjoying that way too much.
had him develop a delusion that his public perception had changed, that most people were now laughing with him and not at him. He even retweeted reputable sources such as Poopy N-Word Man talking about his redemption arc. While it's true that admitting you have a problem is the first step to fixing it, you still have the other 11 steps to do, all of which ideally get you to no longer have that issue. By publicly gambling on WWE Champions, he's just making
I'm not in
it worse.
denial.
A bunch of scummy tabloid people who have absolutely nothing to actually say about anything.
So what they do is they literally make up.
Although Phil was leaning heavily on the idea that he was owning up to it, he continued to lie for no reason,
Sure.
and very poorly at that. At
Owning
the
up
beginning of
to it.
September 2024,
We'll pretend
for
that
whatever
was a
reason,
thing.
he decided it was time to set the record straight as far as his WWE Champions problem, only to add even more questionable wrinkles into his story.
I'm about to tell you.
There are no clips on Bossing Say.
There's still people who aren't going to believe it. There's still people who will never be satisfied no matter what I tell you. They're going to say I lied. And so this is only for those who actually are capable of like rational thought.
What happened to the money for Project 7, Phil? Can you answer that honestly? Are we gonna get that money back, Phil? That's basically what I want to know.
And considering the truth and things like that. You already know I have a history of spending money on mobile games. I've already admitted it, okay? Everything that I said in that segment on stream was a lie. Literally, every time someone asked me about WWE champions, I lied. Because to me, my personal spending, things I was doing off stream, was no one's business. Okay? And every time someone brought it up, I'm like, this is so stupid. This is dumb. You know what I'm saying?
It becomes everyone's business when you make everything about money. If you don't want anyone asking about what you're spending the money on, then don't make every single stream that you're doing about reaching a goal or needing money for it to be a successful stream. That's all I'm saying. If you're going out the route of basically telling everybody, hey, we need $100 or $50, or, you know, this stream was worthless, then you're going to have to expect one or two people being like, what's this money for? You're always asking for the money, but what is it going towards? I would like to know that much.
And I just lied to get it out of the way. And I tried so hard for so long to lie about it, to get people to just forget about it. But I forgot, well, not really forgot, but I definitely underestimated the nature of these people who stalk me.
For starters, how much can we trust that Phil, as someone who has just admitted to pathologically lying about this subject, is now telling the truth? And to make him even less trustworthy, he can't even keep his approach straight, since literally, while he admits to having lied, he complains about how obsessive people are about verifying the things he says, calling them stalkers. Given that DSP lives...
That's not what stalkers are, Phil. Also, Slime, what is this clip?
Off of other people's donations, and that he's literally admitting to lying to everyone here, I think there's obviously a decent reason for people to not trust anything that comes out of his mouth and double check every claim he makes. He continues with his on-stream confession.
Yes, the They Call Me DSP account in WWE Champions is my account, okay? That's mission number one. It is. It always was. So I never in my wildest dreams thought that it would ever blow up in the way that it did.
It may be hard to pick up on here, but he's lying by omission, being deceptive instead of outright lying. The account did not blow up. This was not an acute issue that just turned up overnight. People had been bringing up the account for a very long time in the specific context that, for years, Phil was begging for money online so that he could pay his bills, his mortgage, his taxes, etc., suggesting that his life could be ruined if he failed to pay, all the while splurging thousands on a mobile game. The problem isn't the game, or that he gambled some money on it. It's that he gambled a lot of money on it while telling everyone online that if they didn't donate, he might go homeless.
That's pretty fucked up thing to do, and I kind of remember him doing that a lot in the day too. Like, I wish I had a following that would give me money. I'd be happy to tell them where it's going, and I'd even show everyone on stream that money will go towards my bills. You know what? You're right. If I got a fan base that gave me that type of money, I would let them know. I would let them know what is going towards. And most likely, I would tell you right now, it may go to bills, it may go to the stream. But I will promise you one thing, it's not going to WWE champion bedazzled. Give mother the model. What do you mean? No, I'm not giving my model away to anyone.
He's now acting as if he doesn't know that this is the context and source of the criticism, which is impossible because otherwise, why would he lie about it? In another part of his confession, he mentions other mobile games he's been public about playing and how no one took any issue with them. But that's because he didn't spend tens of thousands of dollars on them and then lie about it, which is what he did with WWE Champions. To add insult to injury, he then attempts to misdirect the entire thing.
And I'm not here to tell you I didn't spend money on the game. I absolutely have spent money on WWE Champions. Okay? A good amount of money on WWE Champions over the years. I'm here to fess on this, right? This is the big moment. My detractors, seeing that there was this name that said They Call Me DSP and had spent money in the game, went on this insane stalker spree, basically trying to get me like banned from the game.
Notice how he pivots to talking about this, but is in...
What stream? What are you talking about, my guy? I didn't do anything in this stream. This stream never happened. This clip never happened. It's AI. That's AI and CGI at the same time.
Capable of actually saying how much money he spent on the game, leaving it at a very vague, a good amount of money over the years. In my last video about Phil, I brought up the confirmed figure of $45,000 that he had used on microtransactions.
Oh God, really? Really? 45,000 on a game? That's a lot of money. Philly Phil, that's a lot of money. You could buy a car with that. You could probably buy like part of a house with that. You know how much food you could buy with that? 45,000, man. What are you getting for 45,000 out of a video game? Phil.
Which was largely made up of WWE Champions purchases. Now, the thing about that figure is it only accounted for a bit under 2 years, from 2020 to 2021. But Phil has been playing the game since before then and has continued playing since then. If he spent up to...
That is crazy as hell. Like 45,000 on a mobile game, not even a video game, not even like a console game, a mobile game. Fucking hell. How? Oh my God. I'm actually a little pissed at that.
$40,000 over less than 2 years. How much more did he spend in total? We'll probably never know, and he'll probably never say, but it is pretty telling that he's now dropping $2,000 on it during random bathroom breaks like it's nothing. Finally, Phil admits to what everyone had been claiming for a while now, that the They Call Me DSP account had its name changed. But strangely, he does his best to avoid mentioning the Down from the Rafters handle specifically, which suggests he still doesn't want anyone to look into that account and is very insistent on trying to get everyone to just forget about it. This is what he had to say on the matter.
It now lasts longer.
Now, all right, all this kind of makes sense, right? Because it's kind of what my detractors have always said. All right. Now I'm going to tell you the part of the story absolutely nobody knows whatsoever. As of today, I don't have any control or ownership of that account anymore. I sold it. At the times when I was like desperate for money.
Sold it. You sold a mobile phone, mobile game, a phone account for a mobile game. You sold it. Bitch, do we look like we're dumb?
Money. I sold the account. I have nothing to show you to prove, you know, they'd call me DSP and then the names that change, you know, that last name was Down for the Raptors. I can't show you anything. You got morons in the chat, really morons in the chat. Show proof of sale.
Wait, didn't he say that he had no idea who Down from the Raptors even was at first, like a couple of minutes ago? Now he's saying that his account was sold, and the fuck is he saying? Bro is the moron in his own chat. Yeah.
You really think right now I'm going to open up a PayPal account and show you anything? I'm going to open up a bank account and show you anything? You're an idiot. No one would believe it anyway. They just say I photoshopped it, or you know what I mean? I lied about this, I lied about that, right? So it's this simple, all right? You can believe my story or you cannot.
There are a lot of things that I find interesting about this part of his confession. First, I like how he prefaces it with,
up to now, all right, all this kind of makes sense, right?
Which suggests that it's about to stop making sense. Surprise, surprise, it does. It's as if he's banking on you believing in the lie he's about to tell, just because what he said so far has been...
Crazy part is I've been knowing about Phil. He just recently did something again, if I remember. If you could tell us what he did, I would like to know. Because I'm starting to feel like a masochist at this point. I need to figure out, like, he actually sounds like he's worse than he was back then. Begging for money on stream. Let's till this day. He's still, you have a bankruptcy. If you think about it, if you go to the point of having a bankruptcy, wouldn't that basically get rid of all debts? I guess that you still have bills, but that will get rid of a lot of debts. And based on what I'm hearing, from this particular video, he gets a good amount of money, albeit that about 2,000 goes to fucking pictures on a phone. It does get rid of a lot of it, but it can also hurt you in other ways. I mean, yeah. I mean, if I remember correctly, you don't have credit if you get bankrupt. Like, if you have a bankruptcy, you cannot get credit for like years. So say goodbye to getting a credit card or like getting a loan. Why do you think our president filed for bankruptcy? You know what, Slime? You make a good point.
The excuse that he sold the account because he was having money problems is no excuse at all, since he was having money problems throughout all of his account's existence. It doesn't make it any more believable. Lastly, isn't it interesting how he only stops to do a double take and respond to the chat when they start asking?
It really messes with your financial health.
I believe it. Followed by the classic pathological liar tell of,
no one would believe it anyway.
The honorable mention moment of this non-confession.
You know what? That's actually true. If you're going to say nobody would believe it anyway, then you're basically just telling people you shouldn't believe this because I already know that it's fake. You know that it's fake, but I'm just going to throw this out there so no one will put up a front about it. Like, you will feel like crap if you feel like it's fake now, but that has the opposite effect, Phil. That's basically just telling us, yeah, you're admitting no one will believe this because you don't even believe it. You're just throwing shit to the wall and seeing what sticks.
Is how he rushes out a mumbled down from the rafters.
And the names that change, you know, that last name was down from the rafters.
Right before he looks at the chat and gets pissed off.
You got morons in the chat.
If he knew that he was incapable of providing anything to prove what he's saying here, and then boldly doubles down on how unimportant it is since people would just choose to think that he's lying, then why bring up the situation at all? My guess is to try to control the narrative and proceed to act like it's addressed when, in fact, he's addressed nothing. It impresses me not only how much he thinks he can fool people, but also how little effort he puts into actually doing it. If he's fooling anyone, it's himself, as he actually thought that this confession was so solid that he then decided to publicly hop on a call with stuttering Craig, which only served to humiliate Phil as Craig dismantled his narrative with no effort.
You're wrong about all that.
Okay,
right?
Fair enough, but you asked me for my opinion, so that's, there you go.
Sure. And that also tells me where your head's at. We were mad because we were lied to.
Phil claimed that he had emailed Craig and was just about...
I mean, it's Trump. If I had what he considered a drop in the bucket, I could pretty much get out of debt. I mean, that's true for most millionaires / billionaires. If you had like a drop in the bucket for them, you could probably have generational wealth.
About to privately show him the receipts that proved he had sold the account. But then Craig did a stream where he engaged with detractors, and that made Phil permanently change his mind. Of course, the notion that Phil had receipts ready on hand that he didn't use to clear his name just because Craig was too mean is such an insult to Craig and everyone else's intelligence that this conversation could only end in one way.
I've been doing this for almost...
Yeah, that's insulting our intelligence. That you didn't have anything. You didn't prepare anything. You just wanted everybody to believe you for your word. Look at that smug fucking face. He is literally pissing on this guy's leg and telling him it's raining. My God.
20 years. So people have a pretty good idea of me and my character. And for you to attack my character, I mean this with all due respect, Phil. Go yourself, because you don't know. I've gone out of my way, Phil, to treat you with respect via email the entire time. I've gone out of my way.
He's just laughing the entire time.
And be courteous to you continuously.
Honestly, this is a complete blunder on Phil's part as far as his PR goes. If he really wanted to, he could rebrand himself as the WWE Champion Streamer Guy.
Get that face out of my face!
Than his current state. Instead, he's chosen to exist in this limbo where he suffers from all of the negative reputation of being a degenerate gambler who wastes all the money he's given, while also facing the scrutiny of pretending to be normal or redeemed, as he put it. No character development, no self-reflection, just more of this.
Let's make the tip skull happen and continue the King Street. Oscar, you think the begging is insane?
I actually would say that he did have a character change. It got worse. He literally got worse.
incessant, well then maybe you should contribute and I would shut up about it. But you know, instead you're just gonna sit there and whine like a little. This guy just said in chat, I counted at least 50 begs left.
Wait a minute. Go back. Say that again, Phil.
He's chosen to exist in this limbo
say
where
that again.
he suffers from all of the negative reputation of being a degenerate gambler who wastes all the money he's given, while also facing the scrutiny of pretending to be normal or redeemed, as he put it. No character development.
I went
no
back too far.
Just more of this.
Let's make the tip skull happen and continue the King Street. Oscar, you think the begging is incessant? Well, then maybe you should contribute and I would shut up about it. But you know, instead you're just gonna sit there and whine like a little. This guy just said in chat, I counted at least 50 begs last night. It was a sight to behold. It's part of the game, you stupid idiot. That's part of the game. That's how it's played. If you don't like it, then don't sit around.
You don't know how to play the game. This makes so much sense as to why you think video games are horrible, because they don't just give you what you want instantly. That's not how you play the game, Phil. Phil, you don't beg. That's not how streaming works. I've only been streaming for, I want to say 4 years now. And even I understand this. This is not how the game goes, Phil. What the fuck? Quick, Zaji, beg for the money in chat. It's how you play the game. I got to play the game. Everyone, please donate a cookie. I want your cookies. Let's hit the goal. 50 cookies. Let's go.
Around and watch it. No one cares about you. The king will not be bothered by such crap.
The king calls himself a king. I'm sorry, Phil, you are not a king. Begging for money is not king shit. That's peasant shit.
From the Rafters account kept moving sizable amounts of money regularly whenever Phil was off stream, while Phil himself, for reasons I have yet to comprehend, insisted on trying to reach out to detractor figureheads, this time aiming for Mr. Medicare, a famous lolcow critic who had targeted him prior. When this didn't work, as Medicare just ignored him, Phil managed to out—
He is king of the assholes, yeah. Kaz, you fucking right. He is the king of the assholes here, and all he's spitting out of his mouth is shit. Hey, not even peasants used to beg for real. I mean, yeah, you're right. He's beneath the peasants.
Do himself in stupidity. He tried to do a collab with Low Tier God.
You just see it.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work.
Pulsate like moving liver.
Suck it in front of your son.
Now, if you don't know who Low Tier God is, he's another streamer who's in his 40s, and his main claim to fame is having abandoned his child.
I've abandoned my boy! I've abandoned my boy!
He also went viral not too long ago for telling someone to off themselves.
Your life literally is as valuable as a summer ant.
And he's also well known for—
The fuck is a summer ant? What is a summer ant? Okay, whatever.
being racist, but against himself. Now, an additional wrinkle between Low Tier God and DarkSydePhil is that they've both been—
We need Zaji to go on an LTG arc. You really need that. You really need that. Your life serves no purpose. You should— I can't say it. I can't say it. I can't say it. I can't say it. It doesn't feel right. Just straight crash outs. I don't think I have the energy.
Compared to one another due to both of them being broke, being really into fighting games, and being completely unable to deal with losing. And for all of these reasons, it's not really shocking that when Low Tier God demanded Phil pay him for a collaboration, Phil was totally unwilling to do it. When it comes to money, Phil only swings one way. So Phil then attacked him on stream, which I can only assume is because he wanted some drama out of it.
Kind of sits around on his streams by himself, isolated. Doesn't really collab with anyone. Doesn't really do much besides just sit there and rage at fighting games and suck half the time. Because I've seen some of his content. Sometimes he plays really well, and other times he's awful, right? And what's funny is people are like, yeah, he gets lots of views and subs. And you look at his stream and you're like, the guy's terrible. Half the time, he's losing, and he's so upset, and he bans all these people.
Well, he got what he...
Pot kettle. Literally pot kettle. I could close my eyes and think that he was talking about himself.
He wanted, because low tier God did what low tier God does. His last message to Phil was him trying to charge him $5,000 and...
Stop clout chasing me, bro. If you want to play me in anything, it's going to cost you 5K. This is sad as fuck. Stop mentioning me and upgrade your streams. Godspeed. Damn.
And getting no response. But after Phil spoke about him publicly, Low Tier God went over their Twitter DMs on stream and wrote Phil a new one.
This was my final response. I said, I'm gonna let you know one thing. Don't ever in your life talk money to me. You cannot compete with me in any category in life. I promise you. I'm showing you in any category you can possibly think of.
This desperate attempt to create some beef to clip farm my name is
as pathetic as your entire internet presence and demeanor.
I on you in revenue across the board, and have been for years.
I do not need your bum ass. You need me.
Now stay in that miserable slumber, NPC. You are literally a bum to me.
Finish him!
Now share this on your poverty stream, weirdo.
Fatality.
Regardless...
Whoa, damn! You know, this is the first time I ever had to say that I agree with Low Tier God. Okay.
The Low Tier God succeeded, and Phil quietly retreated into his mobile gaming streams, the only thing he had left at this point. But even then, his gambling piece was short-lived, as in late September, a clip of him playing Oblivion and struggling to deal with a lock went viral on Twitter.
This system is complete. It's the worst lockpick system I've ever seen in any game.
I'm not going to say anything because I'm pretty sure I would fail at this as well. I have no idea what the fuck is happening.
Just to explain what's going on here really quickly, if Phil paid any attention and tried to learn how the game works, he would have known that you're supposed to press X only when the spring hits the top. Otherwise, your pick breaks. Instead, he just spams X, breaks all of his picks, loads, and then does it again.
It doesn't make any sense. The system doesn't make sense.
Every time that Phil gets more attention,
you do better than
he also
Phil.
Gets more detractors. Almost exactly.
I'm not 100% sure, but I like to believe that I would try to learn.
Sharing his beg accounts playlist, where he tracked how many times Phil begged his audience over the course of 1 month, with his conclusion here being over 3,000 times, all of which are contained in 43 videos.
Let's get some contributions in. I'm seeing a lot of great names in chat. Today would definitely be a good time for gifted memberships. But in addition, of course, the King's Tips. We're trying to continue the King Street. We know it's going to continue. It's just a question of who are going to be the first people to contribute. And we're about to find that out.
Now, Phil saw this, and he needed some kind of response, some kind of way to own this person, to destroy them, and to dispel the allegations that he was perhaps the most prolific e-beggar of all time.
Let's go ahead and get a new super chat in, because that Spawn Killer top super chat has been there for over an hour now.
So his response was, so you're did? This post was made at 2 a.m., by the way. What a life this man leads. It's important to remark that the criticism of his begathon.
So that was his response to begging at a level that no one has ever seen before in the history of life. Okay, Phil. Cool.
That doesn't just come from detractors. Phil has an audience of a little over 100 regulars who are consistently active in the chat and who genuinely try to help him, or at the very least, enjoy watching his stuff. A few of them criticized Phil's insistence that the daily goal be met every day, which led Phil to constantly complain and whine and sweat it whenever the donos weren't coming in.
Any contributions are greatly appreciated. Super chats, memberships, gifted memberships, or tips. I do wish, obviously, to continue the King streak. 11 now, it will be, straight streams hitting this tip's goal. Please send a tip tonight. You can do that by looking in the description of the stream, or just type !tip into the chat.
But Phil wasn't hearing it. Here's how their conversation went. So here we have this guy saying, the goal should be a pot that grows over time, not a streak, and when we hit certain numbers, we do something special. And Phil responds by saying, yeah, except the stuff you guys say doesn't work. I can't just play games I like. I'd go out of business and lose everything. I love RPGs and can't play them because this is my job. It's a double-edged sword having your hobby become your job for sure. Now
if you want to play things that you like playing on your stream, then you have to make it entertaining. Either that or play the things that you know people are going to want to watch. I know people don't want to watch a average player play Overwatch, but I have fun with it. I try to make it entertaining because I like playing it. I'm not like flats or anything, but Zaji, you being bad at video games is entertaining. See, there you go. Wait a minute, fuck you. But there you go. You gotta make things entertaining.
We have a response that says, Phil, I think you should try again. It'll be rough for a short period, but we like seeing you enjoying stuff. That's when the passion comes through,
slime.
when the conversation becomes easy. And Phil says, I've been working my butt off this year, if you haven't noticed. So how about you stop trying to just unload on me, acting like I'm doing everything wrong, and realize the world isn't perfect. I'm a gamer, and making game content with subpar games and all the indie games and RPGs you guys ask for do not bring in viewers or money.
It would if you had a dedicated audience, Phil. Also, he was just giving you advice. I mean, why you say fuck me for? Honestly, that was not really necessary.
Phil, I don't know what more they can say. These are your real fans who care about you, and you just won't listen. I have listened, but the things being said are just nuts. No.
How?
Dropping major AAA games to play only indies and RPGs won't save anything. It will literally end my business.
It's not a business.
Don't lie. No, bro. The streak needs to just go. It's making the entire stream atmosphere so toxic. Okay, no streak. Back to making $50 a stream and barely getting by. Sounds like genius. Somehow, Phil manages to be even more irritated off stream than he is on stream. It seems like every piece of constructive criticism gets interpreted as an attack. He won't give anyone an inch, and he thinks he's right, despite being aware of the looming possibility of making next to nothing off of his streams. I'm convinced that if he lost every single one of his viewers, he'd only become even more confident that he was right all along.
You got morons in the chat.
Surprisingly, this one time, Phil's defiance of what the remnants of his fan base.
Should I call everybody who watch me and comment in my chat idiots? Would that make me more popular? Because apparently Phil thinks that's how you make yourself popular and get all of the monies. I would rather just call you my breakers and enjoy your company.
Wanted actually had consequences. One of his most prominent moderators, named Iron Chef Sakai, began expressing his frustration with Phil during one of his reaction segments because he kept pausing the video to do nothing or eat. In the face of this, Phil reacted in his usual manner.
Iron Chef Sakai, could you please actually moderate over on Kick for a change? There's people in there outright saying stuff that you should be moderating and you're not doing it. So, you know, please moderate. If you're not going to moderate, we don't need to have you as a moderator.
You say who comes to your chat? Shut up.
You're not doing anything.
And just like that, a mutiny had begun on DarkSydePhil's ship. Sakai proceeded to further attack Phil in the chat. See, I would normally tip, but why would I want to drop a tip or sub bomb while this stuff is being talked about? Why isn't this a drama channel? Just rebrand, react to drama, easy money. Why are we here?
You know what? Fair point. He likes drama a lot. Why not? Only if I can. Damn it, Vivi. You're joining in. There's no cucks in my family.
Everyone should just walk out. He stays ignoring his mods. Like, who does that, man? I'm gonna go live and talk about some insane stuff about you if you try anything. I could care less, Phil. I came for the video games, not the BS drama that you say is.
Don't clip that, actually.
Isn't drama content, but it's all drama content. I've pulled you through so many streams, dude. I'm not gonna back down. I'm done going on about this. Just hit play or ban me. I don't care. Now, on one hand, Phil is free to do whatever he wants to do on his own streams. And just because someone in his chat wants him to do something does not mean that he should or has to. But part of Sakai's indignation here is that despite claiming to not be milking for drama, Phil kept repeatedly trying to get the attention of everyone who gave him the time of day. Even Mr. Medicare, who had repeatedly ignored his request for a conversation, was still regularly targeted by DSP as he desperately tried to get him on a call. I actually don't know what he expects will come out of this, but I don't think he's ever been this delusional in his entire online career. Now, in a stream from December 2024, he dropped this generational rant on his detractors, where he subtly implies that by being so hated for over a decade, he has somehow greatly benefited the world.
That's what happens. Remember, before all that happened, I used to be someone who could make a video about an impending law or bill that was going to be passed in the United States that could very negatively affect a ton of people, and people would listen. I made that bill about SOPA, PIPA, S.97A, all that back in the day, over 10 years ago. Those videos...
I know a little bit about this. If I remember correctly, he did make a video about the whole SOPA thing, but Literally everyone did. So why are you acting like you're the only one who did, Phil? Sorry, Zaji. Why you saw... No, chair. I said not to clip it. Anyway, just go back to the video.
Got hundreds of thousands of views and got people talking about the subject. They got more people informed and involved and active in our government, and to stop it and
everybody made a video on this. I was there. Everybody. More famous people, less famous people. A lot of people were talking. Why are you talking as if you were the one who stopped the bill? Why?
none of that passed.
I'm gonna stop him right there to clarify that SOPA and PIPA were two intellectual property related laws that were widely opposed in the early 2010s. And at that time, there was an enormous wave of content criticizing these laws. Phil was just riding that wave, as he's tried to ride every single wave since. And he is deliberately misconstruing it here to imply that he somehow contributed to these laws not passing, which is ridiculous and absolutely not the case. Even in his heyday, when he wasn't as maligned as he is nowadays, he was still just a YouTube gamer guy with very little to offer besides playthroughs recorded by a camera pointed at his television. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but I don't think we should pretend.
I will actually disagree with you, Tom. There's a lot wrong with that. In that time, a lot of people started to actually use direct capture. That was not cool even when he was doing it. It made his videos look so outdated, and it didn't have to be that way. It kind of reminds me that he does not like spending money. He just likes collecting it. Unless it's for big meaty men slapping meat, apparently.
And that Phil ever ascended past that point to some kind of orator, some kind of man of the people. But let's allow him to finish his statement.
And then all of a sudden, oh, Phil's a joke because this is how you don't play. Because of this reason or that reason. It's like, you pathetic excuses for humans. Allow me to repeat myself. You pathetic excuses for humans who thought that it was in everyone's best interest to try to make someone a living joke for a decade, who used to actually try to go out of their way to help people. You know, as long as everyone can laugh at this meme that they recognize, that's cool. Forget about the fact that, you know, I've been around for 16 years. I'm well informed on internet, gaming, YouTube issues. I could definitely give informed takes and things like that. Who cares about that? Instead, we have to laugh today collectively at something like a bunch of brain dead cows, sheep, have to have this herd-like mentality.
You beat your meat on camera. Just wanted to make sure you knew that, Phil.
Of just dunce level intelligence.
Calling his detractors brain-dead cows and pathetic excuses for humans is honestly far less absurd than acting like he's ever gone out of his way to help people. I'm really at a loss for what he's even referring to here, because if he means that giving his opinions online is somehow helping the world, then the detractors have clearly done nothing to stop
at that forehead.
Phil is still going. Now, if he means something else, then I'd like to know what he's talking about, because as far as I'm aware, never in his 16 years of his career has he done much of anything besides obnoxiously playing video games on camera, which is still exactly what he does. The only charity that Phil is interested in is raising funds for Phil. This isn't to say that he's evil or something. Everybody wants to make money, but this is
pancakes, eggs. Those eggs look like they have tomatoes on them. Why are you eating pancakes and eggs out of a Tupperware bowl? You could have easily got a plate for that.
This is only egregious because he continuously doesn't play it straight. There are people out there like Bellular News or Linus Tech Tips who do play it straight and try to be informational, and then there are people out there like Tom Dark who are there to capitalize off of the slop and very little else. Both are totally fine, but the problem is Phil wants to have his cake and eat it too.
I think Tom Dark is Turkey Tom.
He wants to put barely any conscious thought into what he does and still rattle off Homelander-style speeches at his detractors like they're doing something evil by attacking him.
Because for a greater part of a decade, you're the ones who degraded human existence and fried everyone's brain cells with your idiotic...
Well, I'm still here, and I'm happy with what I got.
It's just so trivial, nonsensical garbage.
I don't give about what the trolls say, what idiots on Reddit say. You can make up whatever you want. You can make fun of me, whatever you want.
But you got your lols, you got your laughs, right? You made a buck on the internet, right? Yeah, and now we're all dumb. Now look at the world, right?
Look how stupid people are on the internet. Because this is what you did. You made a joke out of everything.
It really boggles the mind how DarkSydePhil is the one who thinks that he's making a stand against the stupidity of the world and enlightening people. Of all content creators to have that sort of pretense, it's so insane that Phil is the one showing it. Personally, I think getting lols isn't necessarily inferior to being informed. At least with the way things are now, you're probably better off watching PewDiePie play prop hunt than you are watching the news.
Okay, I got away. Don't worry about it.
He makes a good point. A lot of the news just makes you sad. Why do you want to be informed about every single little thing when you can just have a good laugh? I don't get it.
I could have been someone to help people with this kind of stuff. I would have liked to. I was at one point.
No, you wouldn't have. You would have liked to get popular enough to get more money. Let's be honest here, Phil.
But you just had to laugh. Well, now people have lost their livelihood and their YouTube channels. Is it funny? Are you laughing? What if it was you? And it's your...
Yeah, I'm laughing, Phil, because none of this had anything to do with you, and none of this would have been saved because of you.
Your fault. You're to blame. Sorry for me, I'm about to drop a little holiday truth bomb on everyone. If I had never made a YouTube video, if I had never had any prominence on the internet, if I had never bothered turning on a camera, pointing it at a TV, and doing really
Slam,
stupid
I will
commentary,
hit you with my chocolate.
Made tens of thousands of videos. All right? Here's the truth. Tons of people never would have been YouTubers. Tons of content never would have been made. People wouldn't have been inspired to do what they did. And the world would be a very different place.
So you're basically taking credit for YouTubers coming on YouTube. You're basically saying that you inspired people. Look at that smug face. He actually thinks that he is the reason behind a generation of YouTubers. No, Phil.
Okay? If I never existed, a lot of positive things never would have happened on this planet. Whether directly or indirectly as a result of my actions, my existence has actually prominently impacted the internet and life, quite frankly.
I legitimately don't think he's just saying this because he wants people to think it. I think he wholeheartedly believes it. When you're the kind of person who does good things for others, you'll still do them when you aren't popular or rich, just on a smaller scale proportional to how much you can actually do. In contrast, now that Phil has very little going for him, he doesn't do anyone else good besides himself. The money he gets, he uses exclusively to self-indulge. And back when he used to have some motion, he did things like getting a condo he didn't need and then mismanaging what he had so badly that he went bankrupt. More money or more popularity is not going to make him do more good things. It's just going to make him do even more of what he does now, which isn't something that almost anyone wants more of. If you gave Phil $250,000 today, he wouldn't become an excellent games journalist or...
Why would you, actually? Why would you do that? Nobody saved me from Zaji. I'm exactly where I want to be. Damn it, slime.
Internet intellectual. He would just spend $10,000 instead of $2 during his WWE Champions bathroom break sessions. It's impressive how boldly he guilt trips people and says that it's their fault that he's now incapable of being an online superhero just because they laugh at him. But I guess that's one way to cope about how impotent he is in the face of his own ridicule. To summarize all of this insanity, Phil clearly thought he was cooking here, and he even zoomed in on his face to emphasize his points. But the fact is, if he actually had anything insightful or valuable to offer to the public, people would get over his incidents or how bad he is at video games. But he doesn't. So let's get back to the one thing that Phil can offer people: funny moments. As 2024 came to an end, things slightly changed for the worse. You see, for a while now, Phil has been streaming simultaneously on YouTube and Kick, which I don't really understand.
Streams on Kick, huh? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you stream on Kick? Okay.
And since he doesn't have like a huge support base on Kick to justify this, it basically solved nothing, and in fact, it created a new issue. Because even if Phil still got plenty of donations on YouTube, he is under the impression that also streaming on Kick should mean that he should be doubling the amount of money he gets, which obviously did not happen. All it did was move a splinter of his already existing audience over to a different platform. But despite his Kick viewers being 1/10 of his YouTube audience, he still thinks they should be contributing comparable amounts of money, which is ridiculous. And so, ever since his dual streaming started, clips like these have become increasingly common.
Over on Kick, we've got one person who supported all night, your future stepdad, and it was one sub. From now on, I'm going to be very abundantly clear with all of you on Kick. Don't ever ask anything of me ever again, because until people on Kick actually support the content, you get nothing. You got an hour left. Get to it. And thanks to those again.
Did he just try to daddy the chat? don't ask for anything ever again because you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Not like the bright child, my darling YouTube. You're the stepchild. You need to get on it. Kick Daddy Zaji. Shut.
Who supported. And what I mean by that is basically everyone but the Kick viewers because there was zero support on Kick today. Zero. I'm just going to continue to ban all your sock accounts and laugh at you, okay? It's been a great night, but man, I've only had one contribution in the last hour from Meconium. Are you kidding me? That's it? One contribution? We could do better than that. Let's get some super chats. Let's get some tips. Let's get some subs. Let's get some kicks. And for goodness sake.
Does he ever? Why is his lips doing that? Why is it? Anyway, does it get exhausting? Like every single day telling your chat we need money? Like even from the viewpoint of the streamer, that's gotta be like exhausting to continuously say that, right? I would assume.
It's a memberships. What is going on? Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to take away your moral support messages then.
Really?
This kind of faulty thinking has always been a staple of DarkSydePhil. Stream on a different platform as if 100 more regular viewers would magically materialize, thinking he can somehow game his way into making more money. Back in the day, he did things like cutting up the episodes of his playthroughs into very short segments to artificially inflate his video and view counts. Or he would tell his viewers to click the ads that appeared on his channel to get his revenue up, which ultimately got his AdSense completely banned.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
This has now been retconned by Phil into his detractors somehow being at fault.
Oh, well, he was talking about how over 15 years you begged for your audience's money. Literally never, ever asked for contributions until my trolls ruined my YouTube channel and made it
that is false.
So I couldn't make a living on ad revenue.
That is false.
All the way up through that when they got me those false copyright strikes, which ruined my channel and made it so that I couldn't make a living on ads anymore, that's when I had to start asking for crowd support.
That is false. I was there. You told people to click on the ads to get more money. You literally said that out of your mouth.
Before then, I never did.
The funniest part of this is that despite it being true that one of his old channels was heavily damaged by copyright claims, Phil himself is known to have abused the copyright system against his trolls. But he wants you to feel bad for him when he suffers the same fate. It may be tempting to pity Phil as a slowly degenerating old guy coming up with new demented delusions every day because he's struggling to adapt and survive in a constantly changing gaming
Look at that forehead.
But it's not tempting enough that he actually warrants any sympathy.
Look, what am I supposed to do? Are you kidding me? This game is ass. This game is complete ass.
So, still just blaming the game for you being bad at it. Okay.
They're absolutely insane, dude.
The most you can ultimately do is laugh at him, which is more than a lot of people get, in fairness.
Take all your genders and shove it. Don't care what your gender is, you're dead now.
But I think that deep...
You know, I have to say to the people that can actually laugh at Phil, at least you're getting something out of it. I haven't been able to laugh at any of his jokes for a long time.
Deep down, Phil knows this, even if he can't consciously acknowledge it. As of late, he's edged closer and closer into becoming a drama streamer, using almost anything as an excuse to start beef or some kind of interaction with other lolcows. Whether it be on his streams, like his prolonged Cold War with low-tier God.
This guy is the textbook case of someone who is an egomaniac.
Or on Twitter, like when he replied to a viral tweet that showed him and Pirate Software. The caption on this tweet is, "These two end up locked in a room together. They cannot leave until they admit to being wrong. Who leaves first?" To which Phil replied, "Who the f is that?" It's moments like these that...
Irony. The beautiful taste of irony.
Make it look like there's still a glimmer of hope for Phil. Obviously not as a genuine streamer, but more so as a self-aware lolcow. Someone you can witness live, struggling against their impulse to put their foot in their mouth. He did have a brief window to go in this direction during his redemption arc with Kino Casino, but the opportunity slipped away as Phil went back to morally grandstanding over his haters. Fortunately for him, he did get a second opportunity, and this time around, he came even closer. In October of 2025, Phil did an interview with none other than...
It's the wings! It's the wings of Redemption. I remember pretty much every single meme featuring this guy.
Wings of Redemption, who honestly has a lot in common with DSP. They've both been running gaming channels since the very early days of YouTube. They both had a few incidents of their own, which led to them attracting a fan base of hate watchers and
Why is he in a
trolls.
tub?
And most importantly, despite how hated they are, these guys are probably the most normal and human lol cows available. While I don't think the contents of this interview really concern the narrative of Phil's story, it is a great watch if you're interested in the psychology of these people and humanizing them beyond their funny moments. If you look at the comments, plenty of people share this sentiment and express that despite being trolls of theirs, this interview was much more enjoyable to watch than anything else Phil had ever put out. Right around the same time this came out, and there was a minor but noticeable warming up on Phil from the detractor community, popular streamer Asmongold reacted to one of his clips on Twitter, getting well over 1 million views off of it.
The roach daddy.
Gave him any bits at all.
I'm gonna be very abundantly clear with all of you on Kick. Don't ever ask anything of me ever again.
Damn.
Don't ask for me to add you messages, new emotes, pop-ups, nothing.
What?
Because until people on Kick actually support the content, you get nothing.
You letting them know.
As you can imagine, this introduced a ton of new people to the ever-expanding DSP universe. And to capitalize on this, Asmon followed up by doing his own interview with DSP. A lot like the situation with Wings, if you check the comments, there's plenty of people who thought that Phil came off way better.
DSP actually came across here way more likable than I was expecting to see. I bet he gained some viewers from this interview. I hate to tell you, my guy, but he's gonna fuck this up. It's just written in stone.
Than expected. Granted, he did tell some of his usual lies to make his past misdeeds look less bad, but regardless, the same effect was achieved. Once again, a door was opened. An opportunity presented itself. All Phil had to do was change, once and for all. Clearly, it was his streams, and more specifically, the way he sets his streams up so that he necessarily ends up begging for money and guilt-tripping his viewers, that regularly produced extremely hateable moments. If Phil, at this exact turning point, decided to take advantage of this situation, he could actually find himself some success. Did he do it? This is the point in the video where I say,
of course not.
Despite repeatedly telling Asmon in the interview that he wasn't looking to become a drama channel or to purposely rage bait.
All right, Zaji, I'm ready. I'm down for a few slices of pineapple. I think it's a go. What do you mean pineapple? Did you know that pineapple eats you as much as you eat it?
People. This is what Phil was up to just a few months later.
All right, clip this and put it on Reddit for me, okay?
Read it again. All right, Zaji, I'm ready. I just downed a few slices of pineapple. I think it's a go. But what about pineapple? You ate pineapple? Okay, that sounds delicious. Hope you enjoyed this. Even I know this. I feel like I should be afraid.
Okay. Hello, Reddit readers. Hi, everyone who sits on Reddit all day reading it. Normal people don't sit on Reddit all day watching out-of-context crap and think that it's fact and talk about it and make it go viral. No one cares. You're a loser. You'll always be a loser. That's why you sit on Reddit all day.
Reacting to Reddit.
Enjoy your live stream fails. I'll sit here making content, making money, and having a great time with my audience.
Making money. He had to throw that in there, didn't he?
And you can get bent.
This is the textbook thing to not do if you find yourself in a situation where you're getting hate online. But unfortunately, it's all that Phil knows how to do. He literally lives for the next moment of getting a popping thread on livestream fails, another reaction from Asmongold, or a low-light clip of him being horrible at video games going viral after decades of...
Okay, what is this about pineapple? Why am I innocent? I mean, I know I'm not. But why am I innocent? What is this about pineapples? I like pineapples. I eat them. Tell her, Vivi. Yeah, Vivi, tell me. What is this about pineapples?
Playing them for money.
Oh my. What the? This is insane. What is going on? How do you play this shit?
What do you mean, how do you play this? It's 007. How do you not know how to fire the gun in 007?
Undoubtedly, in the future, Phil will get more opportunities to try and seize a slightly bigger audience of people who only know him from the funny clips. And undoubtedly, he will keep fumbling every...
It's literally a breaker.
Single one of them. He still thinks it's worthwhile to keep trying to scrap out his livelihood from e-begging and arguing with random trolls online, all while doing bare-bone gameplays that wouldn't succeed even if it was prime gaming YouTube in 2011 due to how bored and uninterested he always is during these playthroughs. Will DarkSydePhil survive? Probably. I doubt he's ever gonna stop making a living off of what he's doing, but he'll also never improve. Ultimately, this is the nature of DarkSydePhil. It's almost like his genetic fate to be in the same spot he's been for the last 15 years. Never improving, never ascending, always, constantly, every single day, maulding.
No one would believe it anyway.
And begging, obviously.
We're only at 20-something bucks.
I've been Turkey Tom. Thanks for watching. And until next time, leave me alone.
Well, that was Turkey Tom. I was right. Turkey, the Dark, Tom Dark. It's Turkey Tom. I was right. Fuck. Yeah. Well, at least now we know that DSP is a thing still. Still begging, possibly beating his meat, possibly still blaming netcode. Woo! Can we black you, Zaji? Shut up.